Hello, friends, and welcome back. I hope your day is going well. Before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe so you never miss updates like this. Now, let's begin. Morning television has always been about warmth, laughter, and connection. For decades, Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos were at the center of that world, delivering joy and positivity to millions of viewers every morning. But far from the bright studio lights, their lives were turned upside down by a devastating challenge, one that would test their love, their strength, and their very faith. This isn't just a story about illness. It's about endurance, resilience, and a love so profound that even tragedy couldn't break it. By the end, you'll understand why their journey has moved people across the country. The call that changed everything. It started out as an ordinary morning in the Consuelos household. Kelly was preparing for another day on air, while Mark balanced his own busy schedule. Then the phone rang. The kind of call that freezes time. Doctors had discovered something alarming during a routine check. Within days, the word that no family wants to hear became their reality. Cancer. That single word carried an unbearable weight, and almost instantly, Mark's health began to spiral. Within weeks, he was in the ICU, clinging to life. For fans, the news felt unreal. They had always seen Mark as strong, charismatic, and unshakable. To watch him suddenly fall into such fragility was a shock that rippled far beyond the headlines. Why it felt so personal. Viewers had followed Kelly and Mark's love story for decades. Many remembered Kelly's early days on All My Children, where sparks with Mark first flew. They eloped in Las Vegas, raised 3 children, and built what seemed like a storybook marriage. To fans, they weren't just celebrities. They felt like family. So when news broke about Mark's diagnosis, it didn't feel distant. It felt intimate. For older fans, many of whom had endured cancer battles themselves or watched loved ones suffer, the story cut painfully close to home. It was a reminder, illness does not discriminate. Even the brightest stars are not untouchable. Love in the ICU. The ICU became their new reality. Beeping monitors, sterile walls, and sleepless nights replaced their once lively home filled with laughter. Kelly refused to leave her husband's side. Through endless procedures, whispered prayers, and long nights of fear, she showed what true love looks like when tested in its hardest form. Doctors described his condition as critical. Every breath, every small sign of progress felt like a victory. For Kelly, time seemed to stop. Every hour stretched unbearably long. But what struck those closest to them was not just Mark's fight, but Kelly's unwavering devotion. She was his rock, proving that love isn't just about joy and good times. It's about staying rooted when the storm is fiercest. Redefining strength. On screen, Mark often embodied boldness and confidence. Off-screen, he was the strong, steady husband and father. But in that hospital bed, stripped of all roles, he was simply a man in the fight of his life. And yet, that vulnerability revealed a deeper kind of strength. True strength isn't about muscles or bravado. It's about endurance. It's about taking one breath after another, even when the odds look grim. For Kelly, watching him in such fragility was heartbreaking, but it also showed her that the courage to keep going, even in the smallest ways, is sometimes the greatest form of bravery. The family's pain. Michael, Lola, and Joaquin, their 3 children, had to confront the terrifying possibility of losing their father. Michael once said his dad was the anchor of their family. Now, with that anchor weakened, they leaned on each other in ways they never had before. Kelly described dinners cut short by hospital calls, birthdays shadowed by worry, and milestones celebrated while wearing hospital visitor wristbands. These small details resonated deeply with families everywhere who have walked similar paths. Because when one person suffers, the whole family carries the weight. A nation united in prayer. As news spread, fans across the country rallied. Social media lit up with messages of hope. Some shared their own cancer journeys. Others lit candles or whispered prayers for Mark's recovery. It was as though the nation collectively wrapped the family in love. For Kelly and Mark, that support mattered. It reminded them they weren't fighting alone. Even in their darkest nights, millions were standing beside them. The bigger message. What makes this story resonate isn't just the tragedy. It's the love that grew stronger in the midst of it. Kelly and Mark's bond became proof that real love doesn't falter when tested. Instead, it deepens. Mark's battle revealed that resilience isn't about never breaking. It's about finding the will to rise again, even after being broken. And Kelly's devotion reminded the world that love's truest form is presence, showing up, staying, and fighting side by side. For decades, the couple brought lighthearted joy into our mornings. But now, their real-life struggle has offered something even more powerful: hope. Because if they can face the unimaginable and keep holding on to love, then maybe we all can. Final thoughts. Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos' story is still unfolding. The road is uncertain, but what's clear is that their journey has touched millions. It reminds us that behind every celebrity, behind every smiling face on screen, lies a very human story of love, struggle, and endurance. And in that way, their ordeal is not just theirs. It belongs to all of us who have ever faced fear, held on to hope, and prayed for another tomorrow.